Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecka. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show that we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms as well as to Facebook Live and YouTube. So if you are joining us from either of those places, please feel free to leave us a question or a comment. Hopefully I'll be able to address anything as I go through the forecast, but if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can answer anything individually for you. But let's get started here with a look at our headlines of what we're tracking. Well, for the rest of the night tonight, we have that other reinforcing shot of colder air that's going to be filtering in from the north. We're going to stay mostly dry, but we did even pick up that chance for a few flurries earlier in the evening. We'll hold on to that chance for a flurry or two, but again, not really expecting much out of that. And then as we get into tomorrow, or at least the next couple of mornings, very bitter cold starts, especially for tomorrow morning. Looks like the coldest kind of period over the next 7 days. And then we start to warm back up by the middle of next week, and that also increases our chances slightly for maybe a few spotty rain or snow showers, but at least nothing really major moving in here through the next 5-6 days. And then we're looking ahead to next weekend for another storm system that may bring us some potential wintry precip, but it's very far out in the future, and I just kind of want to show you guys what the different models are showing and explain it to you and what you're looking at. But let's start off with a look at what's going on right now here in the United States. We've got this area of low pressure that's kind of weakening and spinning out over the Great Lakes region. It's transferring its energy over to this coastal low that's going to continue to bring some snow to portions of New England through the rest of the night tonight. But that colder air, as it rushes in from the northwest, may conjure up again a few flurries here in the tri-state. So I don't want to completely rule that out through the rest of the night tonight. You could see we had a few lighter snow showers pass to our north. Maybe if we're up in the Princeton area or up in Pike County or Jasper and Du Bois County, if you're in the comments, let me know if you actually ended up seeing any of those snowflakes reaching the ground, because we also have a lot of dry air closer to the surface. So a lot of the times when that happens, you get showers to move over that dry air, but everything that falls kind of evaporates before it hits the ground. So I haven't really seen any reports of anything reaching the ground, but hopefully maybe a few folks were up there and could let me know. But looking at the hour-by-hour forecast here through the rest of the night, we'll see partly cloudy skies, and again, that chance for a flurry remains possible. Looking at our current temperatures, they're already beginning to cool. We've hung out now mostly in the 20s, 28 degrees in Evansville, Newburgh, Lewisport, 29 down towards Greenville, 27 up towards Oakland City. So we're all pretty similar with one another as we go through the night tonight. We'll be dropping out of the 20s and down into the teens overnight into early tomorrow morning. Now you combine that with some of these wind gusts up to 20 miles per hour possibly, especially as you wake up tomorrow morning, that is going to make it feel a lot colder out there. So looking at our wind chill values here through the night and into tomorrow, we'll see them drop down into the single digits, likely above zero for most, but there may be a few locations, especially north of I-64, that briefly drop to below zero for those wind chill values, but it wouldn't be a long or sustained time period there. So we really haven't seen any cold weather advisories get issued for us here in the tri-state. However, just to the north of the tri-state, some of those cold alerts were issued. But again, that doesn't include anyone here. So that is set to expire by around 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. So again, going to be the coldest start tomorrow out of this next week. And then temperatures continue to climb up into the lower 20s through tomorrow afternoon with mostly sunny skies. And wind chill values, while they won't be in the single digits throughout the day, they will still only be flirting in the teens. So it's still going to be very chilly regardless, but at least it'll be sunny. We'll hold on to that sunshine through Tuesday as well. Single digit morning lows once again for Tuesday morning, but then we'll warm back up to around freezing by Tuesday afternoon. And then we'll pop back up above freezing by the middle and end of next week, and then we'll start to cool back down again, similar to how we are right now for next weekend. So another Arctic blast kind of pushing through, and then of course there's also that chance for some snow, but I'll break all that down for you. But first, let's go over some cold weather safety tips. I know I talked about this a lot over the last couple of days, but for anyone who missed it or needs a nice reminder, Let me go ahead and take that full screen. So for cold weather safety indoors, you want to make sure you're checking your heating systems and carbon monoxide detectors. If you're going to be using a space heater, you want to make sure it's kept away from any flammable things. So using it safely, you also want to run a trickle of water to avoid any frozen pipes. And while I'm not expecting anyone to lose power here, it's always good to just have an emergency kit. Anything with blankets, flashlights, and food will be good. And then if you're going to be outside, which I don't really recommend for long periods of time, but I know obviously we all have to get to work and school. Regardless, we need to be dressing in layers. Wicking and insulating and waterproof layers are the best. You want to cover any and all exposed skin. Make sure you get a hat, gloves, a scarf, and a face mask. And of course, limiting the time outdoors, especially for children and elderly folks. And of course, you also want to try your best to stay dry because being wet makes that heat loss a lot easier. But looking at our precipitation chances, at least through the next 5 days here, we really don't have a whole lot that's expected to move through. Again, we have that frontal boundary that may pass through here on Wednesday. It may kick up a few spotty rain or snow showers early Wednesday morning and into the first part of the afternoon. But then we should clear out of here through the rest of the day on Wednesday. Then we should stay dry through Thursday and even into Friday. But then as we get into next weekend, it looks like the models are kind of hinting at some sort of storm system moving through the Midwest or the Deep South. So there's a couple of different obvious tracks that this thing could take. It's a whole week away, but both models do show at least something moving through for next weekend. So I'll break all that down. But in terms of our hazards, we are outlooked for very, very cold temperatures, potentially some of the coldest that we may see so far for this season. And that's going for a good chunk of the country, the northeastern corner of the country. They're highlighted in that darker blue color, indicating that we're going to have a good Arctic mass kind of funneling in by the time we get into next weekend. But taking a look at our 7-day forecast here, this will lead us in to next week. We've got plenty of sunshine tomorrow, Tuesday. Even on Wednesday, we've got the chance for some sunshine out there. I think we'll have some clouds out there in the morning, a few spotty rain or snow showers possible, drier, a few more sunshine or some peaks of sun through the afternoon on Wednesday. We'll stay dry on Thursday. And then as we head into next weekend, that's when we'll see some cloud cover increase through Friday, and then potentially some of those snow showers by the time we get into Saturday. But again, at this point in time, we may see a snow shower, we may only see a rain shower, may see a mix of both, and we may see nothing at all. So all possibilities are on the table for next weekend. But I do just want to take you through both longer range models here. So I'm going to take you through the European and the GFS to show you what they're both thinking. So looking at the European model first, it has this storm system kind of developing off to our southwest over the deep south, or not the deep south, the southern plains that is expected to move through the deep south. So this low takes a more southerly track. And when these low pressure systems take a more southerly track, that allows that colder air from the north to filter in a lot easier. So our chances of seeing all snow increase if the storm track stays more southerly, which in this case it does, and it does bring us all snow here in the tri-state, and it keeps that yucky mess of an ice and sleet mixture well to our south. So that would be a really good case scenario in terms of winter storm setups go. And the GFS, not too far off in its thinking. So here we are for Saturday. This brings the precipitation in potentially a little bit sooner, maybe as early as Friday night, but still has that potential for at least some snow showers there by Saturday. But this model, the GFS, takes that storm even farther to the south. So that now at this point, we've got so much cold air moving in from the north, it's also very, very dry. So that reduces our chances of seeing any sort of precipitation at all. We may just get clipped by a couple of light snow showers over western Kentucky for next weekend. So all in all, both models show some sort of system moving through. Both have trended colder and a little bit more of a southerly track. So that puts us on the colder side of the system. So as of right now, we're not seeing too much in the way or too much potential for mixing or ice. However, this can change a lot between now and next weekend. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on it here for you, and I want you guys to continue to tune in. But that's kind of the latest on next weekend's potential. So if this thing continues to trend southward and it continues to get even colder for next weekend, we may end up seeing nothing at all because the storm track may just be suppressed too far to the south However, we do start to see these models trend a little bit warmer with a little bit more of a northerly storm track. They may put us on that potential mixing or even rainier side of the storm system. So again, potential for something moving through next weekend, but as for exactly what, still very unclear. So continue to check back for those updates. Let me go ahead and take a look at some of the questions or comments that you may have. Zach saying good evening to you. Same thing from Suzanne, good evening and stay warm. Cheyenne, good evening. Lori asked about next weekend. Hopefully I answered that for you. Denise said good evening, thank you for the update. Heather and Jeanette, good evening to you guys. Good evening to you, Ricky. Hates this weather. He wants spring to come sooner. I agree. Hopefully spring is a nice warm one. It's not one of those cold, wet springs, because those are just unfortunate, especially after a very cold winter, or at least just an erratic winter. You know, we've been jumping back and forth between, you know, record highs and then record lows. So it's just really, really a roller coaster ride so far this winter. Oh, Olivia, she is a snow lover. She hopes we get a lot of snow. I can't say I feel the same way, but I hope, you know, something satisfies you by the time we get into next weekend. So hopefully, you know, it's nothing too bad, but hopefully you get maybe some flakes out of it. Emma says, good evening. Jeanette, no snow for me. Absolutely do not like anything about winter. Me and you seem to agree. And of course, Chris, he's chiming in at the very end here. He's ready for spring and he does not like the cold either. Me and him share that sentiment almost every night here on the weather show. So that's what it's going to be here for the next 7 days. Let me go ahead and just kind of give you another roundhouse here. Very, very bitter cold starts through tomorrow morning and Tuesday morning. Tomorrow morning, though, definitely going to be the coldest of the week ahead. We could have single-digit wind chill values above and below zero in a few locations. We'll still drop down into the single digits by Tuesday morning, but the winds will be eased up by then. So the wind chill factor, not really much of a factor at all, but it'll still be in the single digits. So very cold, and then we'll warm back up to around freezing for Tuesday before we get above freezing for the middle and end of the work week there. A few spotty rain and snow showers possible Wednesday morning, then staying dry mostly through Thursday and Friday before that next potential for maybe a wintry system for next weekend. And of course, turning a lot colder as well. Temperatures drop back out of the 30s down into the 20s. So this is the forecast here for the next 7 days. So hopefully I answered any and all questions that you may have. So I'm going to hop off the live stream. I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody, stay safe and have a great rest of your night.